Good day, esteemed colleagues and sustainability enthusiasts. My name is Clay Graham. I'm a sustainability technology architect at a stealth startup that's passionate about bringing visibility and fidelity to the voluntary carbon markets. Today, I'll bring you a presentation at the crossroads of blockchain technology and sustainability, specifically focused on how the Interwork Alliance tokenization process contributes to CO2 auditing and monetization. Primary goal of my presentation is to provide a blockchain agnostic pattern for both tracking and monitoring the progress of ecological markets, and then tokenizing the benefits related to those projects for voluntary carbon markets. Thanks for letting me present to you today. Stepping right into the realm of voluntary ecological markets, we see a global effort to mitigate environmental impact and promote sustainability. Voluntary ecological markets operate on the basis of demand from organizations willing to offset their environmental footprint voluntarily, rather than due to regulatory obligations. In this space, the Interwork Alliance Sustainability Business Working Group plays a pivotal role. This dedicated body works to establish comprehensive standards for tokenization, contractual extensions, workflows, and analytics, thereby shaping the structure and functioning of standards-based ecological markets. The IWA tokenization process involves various roles, each with their unique set of actions and activities. The key participants include project owner. The project owner manages the project lifecycle, creates the project info, and mints the NFT. They also assert claims as new information comes in about the project with evidentiary, which mints new core carbon principles SFT tokens. The second role is the distributor, who creates new Trustlines based on expected benefit claim sets, receives newly minted tokens when assertions are made by the project owner, and then distributes those tokens to third parties, such as buyers or marketplaces. Buyers are third-party participants in a token trust line, and they have to opt in. They receive core carbon principles SFT tokens from distributors, and then can redistribute those tokens to other third parties that also participate in the claim set trust line. They're also capable of retiring tokens. Then finally is retirement, which is the end of the token life cycle. The individual who retired the token claims the impact of the ecological benefit, and individual token IDs are referenced and realized as they are retired. So, as the participants walk through this, there are 4 actions that occur that persist 3 primary blockchain artifacts. So the first activity, we have the project owners providing core information about the ecological project, and doing that in an immutable way, which in terms of the blockchain creates an NFT token, as well as persisting all the immutable information about that project, which becomes public. Then, once the project has been minted, the distributors define an expectation of vintage, delivery size, and the set of benefits with high confidence that defined the core carbon principles that a specific token set, will be minted from. This also identifies all of the carbon retirement units associated with that vintage group. Then, as facts on the ground develop and a project actually kicks off and is alive, project owners provide evidence that a vintage, an amount of carbon tonnage, and the related benefits of the token set have been met. The distributor then receives the issued amount of tokens related to that claim. The organization may choose verification at this stage prior to making the token transferable, but at this point, these tokens can be distributed to third parties such as buyers. The final stage of the life cycle is retiring credits, and any third party holding a core carbon principles token may choose to retire it, ending its life cycle. When this happens, this is done by sending the token to a burn wallet, and that's when the actual carbon retirement unit IDs are realized. So if you think about this from purely a Web3 blockchain and IPFS persistence model, we have a set of wallets that are signing specific transactions. They're minting NFTs, they're creating trust lines, they're making payments. And those signed activities, as they are occurring, are persisting out IWA compliant documents to the interplanetary file system. So let's double click on some of these IWA objects that are getting persisted. First, there's the Ecological Project Program, and really this is intended to be a definition of provenance of the project, which there will be a whole bunch of different tokens issued against. This is, what are the expectations of the project? Who is responsible for driving it? What are the addresses and the places that it's happening? And what are all of the benefits that are being described, associated, that are possible over the lifespan of the entire project? And these are described by modular benefit projects that have location, ecological benefit scopes, the claims that they're planning on making against the project, and then what methods will be used for collecting data on benefits associated with the project. So the second artifact that we are publishing to the interplanetary file system is the Core Carbon Principles token. And we create that as part of a trust line that says we have a set of benefits that are going to be common for a certain vintage, and a certain amount of carbon tonnage is going to be produced that has these specific benefits. With all the tokens in this trust line, there is a high confidence that the benefits will be common for all units. This allows for all tokens in the SFT trust line to be priced identically. Then, as the project pursues and the project owner collects evidentiary of a certain vintage and benefit set, they assert claims. And every time they assert a claim, a record of that claim is persisted into IPFS and a transaction is put on the blockchain. The ultimate goal of every token is to be retired, and this is done by a token holder opting into retiring the token by sending it to a burn wallet. The infrastructure of the backend knows that all tokens associated with the burn wallet are intended to be retired, and therefore the token IDs associated with what's sent to the burn wallet are realized, and the token lifecycle is complete. The use of semi-fungible tokens for the Core Carbon Principles trust lines provides several advantages. Firstly, participants in the trust line can confidently know that all tokens in the token set hold the same value. This allows for multiple tokens to be transferred without tracking individual token identifiers, enhancing efficiencies. NFTs aren't really supported by most automated market maker services, so it makes price stability difficult. Additionally, the token identifiers don't need to be realized until retirement, providing flexibility in the life cycle of the token. Finally, by breaking carbon credits into small batches, which represent a single ecological project and a single vintage for that project, all the MRV data is actually supporting that batch of credits. So I'm going to do a really quick demo of a tokenization browser that I built on top of Filecoin Green and CO2 storage that kind of represents how this could play out in terms of a public listing service. So the Ecological Markets browser allows us to browse both projects and tokens. And if we click into projects, we make calls directly to CO2 storage. So we've asked CO2 storage to give us all of the ecological projects in our sandbox. And now we're clicking through to get more details on one we're interested in. So we're now going to fetch the single ecological project as a document in IPFS through CO2 storage. And what we're actually looking at as a YAML file in the browser in the upper left-hand side is the ecological project schema. And over on the right-hand side where you have CO2 storage running, we can click on the asset, see that there's our ecological project, the CID that's persisted against IPFS, and some other important details. Next, we're going to browse into the tokens and get a list of all tokens associated with the project in CO2 storage. And when that's been fetched, we can see the details on the specific token, including how many units were created associated with that trust line, the token name, and all of the relevant benefits that are being claimed. And again, if we look over in CO2 storage, we see that document has been persisted as well as its CID and its name. So I'd like to draw a few conclusions from this. First, this approach is both blockchain and persistence agnostic, and the power of using public blockchains and stores is that it will help improve confidence in the fidelity of these listings. Secondly, verification and forwards are still aspects that need to be addressed more in this pattern. We really aren't addressing how to collect verification data or put it on the blockchain in this model. I personally believe that opening up ecological market business processes and improving visibility will help grow the availability of high-quality voluntary carbon markets. I'd like to thank you again for giving me an opportunity to present to you. If you have any questions or you'd like access to the browser code base, please email me at clay@centigrade.earth.